Welcome everyone to Michigan, where this week we head to, of course, Michigan for 100 laps. So this is going to be the league's longest race here at this track. Qualifying is currently underway, and we will get to those results in a few moments' time when mostly everybody completes their time. As of right now, your point standings as of last week after Las Vegas, Rice Saunders is in first place after holding off barely Nigel De Jong, and of course that bonus point comes into effect for Saunders without one bonus point, so instead of 1 point ahead, he is 2 points ahead of De Jong. Carl Hayes finished third, and then the rest of the field for that race. We will leave that up there in the meantime, then we will head over some of the stats for this week's race, or at least for the track here. As of right now, the previous poll, well, at least the previous 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or so polls, went to Nigel De Jong, taking 3 of those. But this is, of course, the 8th visit to Michigan for the MTR trucks. Most of them being pretty much every single one of them, except for one season. We do have 2016 Season 1, Season 3, and Season 4. 2017 Season 1 and 3, and then 2018 Season 1 and Season 3. This, of course, I believe it's actually Season 3. Maybe 100% wrong with that one. But nonetheless, though, this is going to be the league's longest race. The shortest race out of the previous 7 was 58 laps from 2016 Season 1. And the last time they came here, 2018 Season 3, we had 0 cautions at this raceway. The most was 7 in 2016 Season 1. But of course, that was a short race distance. So aside from the original 60 that was originally scheduled, we are going to be taking 100 laps at this repaved raceway. And of course, the view of Michigan Speedway, you can already sort of see the at least roughly top 3 drivers that are here right now, or at least in the top 3. Ian Cornish in the 81, Carl Hayes in the 96, and then the 71 of Linus Brostrom. Just below in 4th is Rice Saunders, and then in the 5th place position is going to be Josh Long. So from previous experience at this racetrack, and also killing my right front tire while racing here, that's going to be something that we will have to look out for. Of course, is the right front tire wear in general, actually. But of course, all 4 tires will be wearing here at this track, no matter what. You can see in the background, Michigan's turns 3 and 4. That, for me personally, that corner is, it just depends. You don't really diamond the corner, but you also do diamond the corner ever so slightly. You just don't take to the very inside all that often. As you probably saw in the scoring pylon, the number 91 has jumped up to position number 2 on the scoreboard. 4 laps worth of qualifying. We'll see if we can take a look at somebody that's actually qualifying right now. Number 27 of Jonathan Rex. I don't believe he's actually started his lap time yet, but he is doing so right now. And into the outside wall. He's barely going to manage to save it. That's not going to be a good way to start off his lap, though. And looks like he will slide almost across the start-finish line. And it came across the outside wall there off of turn number 4. That's going to be something to watch out for. No pun intended if that was ever a pun. But Another thing at this raceway, of course, even though it is new, something else that is to look out for. We're going to watch number 27 here, actually. And then coming off of turn number 2, it's the ever so famous blue cone and the blue line. So, of course, once again, from exiting the pit road, the drivers will have to stay below this yellow line until they reach that blue cone. Of course, just a little bit of a look at this raceway. Some of the safer barriers in terms of iRacing have been updated. You can see that they are quite literally pretty much more than accurate to real life here at this raceway. So 27, Jonathan Rex starts his lap time. We'll take a look at his lap times in a moment, but you can see right here the safer barriers are new and in their glory, no longer 2D for the most part. And I have to say it's a very, very well done job. So we're going to take a look at the number 27 if we can find him. There he is over in turns 3 and 4. Didn't come across the outside wall this time, taking to the apron, which of course is a legal move. Across the line, puts the number 27 in position number 6 with a 40.207. We'll put the points up one more time just so we can, while we talk about the number 27, we will update you on his lap time. Across the line, 40.196, just ever so slightly faster than his 207. This is, of course, the last lap for the number 27 as well. And he couldn't have timed it more perfect because this is pretty much the closing time for Jonathan Rex right now. As you can see in the very top left-hand in the corner, pretty much 1 minute remains in qualifying, and we have 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 drivers scheduled to race here tonight. Across the line comes the 27, and his lap time is both slower actually, and unfortunately a 40.397. So the last 40 seconds we will put those lap times, or the point results rather, up on the screen as we get a few things adjusted just to make sure. Jeffrey Sykes actually is on the racetrack. Could be his practicing times though, but we'll see if anything counts across the line this time by, with 17 seconds remaining in qualifying and a 40.585 for the 06. Hardwick on track, Rex, Pomfrey, and Cornish all have completed their lap times. So heading down the starting grid for this afternoon's race, it's going to be quite interesting as we have again 100 laps here at this raceway. Starting grid on the screen right now. Ian Cornish will be starting in the first place position. Second place will be Saunders in the number 91 machine. And the best thing about this track is that the pit road gridding is now diagonal. So definitely a good move. So Ian Cornish and Bryce Saunders, though, first and second respectively. Carl Heiss in third place in the number 96. Linus Brostrom will be starting in the fourth place position in the number 71. Running out the top 5 is Josh Wong in the 13, and then 6th through 10th will be the number 27 of Jonathan Rex. Stuart Pomfrey in the 36 starts 7th. Number 2 of Doug Pickering starts 8th. And then rounding out the top 10 will be Mark Redford in the 31 and Jamie Sawyer in the number 46. John Jarrett starts in the 11th place position. 12th place is Lane O'Connor, both in the 59 and the 4 respectively. Reese Hardwick starts in the number 136. Andrew Bullock starts in the 404 in 14th. And the 666 of Michael Jones starts in 15th. Jeffrey Sykes in the 06 starts in the 16th place position. Chris Stansfield starts 17th, 18th. Chris Bourne. And then the drivers to not take a lap time. Nigel DeJong once again this week still not taking a lap time. And Jake Forrester doing the same, not taking a lap time for this week. And he will start in 20th. Lance Simon 21st and 22nd, Daniel Beckett. Simon Marshall starts 23rd and 24th, Jeffrey Goodpaster. And already somebody's a little bit too eager. That's the number 2 Pickering, actually. He is ready to get going, pretty much everybody, as we watch the field roll off. Of course, this is Michigan International Speedway here for the second week of the My Turn Racing Truck Series. I, of course, am, as always, I believe, still one and only Gary Weaver here, at least on iRacing at the very least. And glad to bring you the coverage for this afternoon's race. It looks like somebody's actually going to be starting on the pit road. Not sure who that is as of right now. That looks to be Nigel DeJong, actually. Not sure why he's starting on pit road, but nonetheless, everyone else is ready to get going. The number 81 of Ian Cornish is ready to bring the field to the green flag here at Michigan for 100 laps. And he's already down in the way. Green flag is out, and we are underway as everybody's already scrambling for a position right off the bat. Side by side off turn number 2 between Jonathan Rex and the number 2 Doug Pickering on the top side there. As they head down the back straightaway, everyone pretty much nose to tail. As Ian Cornish comes off turn number 4, and he will complete and lead the first lap here at Michigan Speedway. Saunders peeks to the inside. Jonathan Rex now trying to battle the 36 of Stuart Ponfrey, who's on the top side. Trying to get around the 27. Will not happen this time around, though. This time, though, in turns 3 and 4, you can see not everybody is really using the diamond line through the corner. Taking the top side on entry and then the low side on the exit. Sorry, top side on entry, low in the middle of the corner. This is pretty much as low as anybody wants to go for now. Relatively single file already, unless you're the 91 of Saunders, who's not exactly single file, but he really wants to get to the lead as early as he can. But Ian Cornish, with the pole, he gets 1 bonus point. So there's 1 bonus point for getting the pole for qualifying, or in qualifying rather. It's going to be a pretty long race. I'm predicting maybe 2 stops. If some people can, however, make it on 1 stop, then that'd be pretty interesting. That race would have to be split for them 50 and 50. A little bit of a battle in the back between John Jarrett, who's passing the 46 of Sawyer on the inside. On the apron, crossover by Sawyer into turns 1 and 2. Doesn't happen, though, as the 59 has a little bit more momentum than the 46. Saunders takes a peek to the high side on the tri-oval. Crossover attempt by Saunders. Still can't get anything done. This race is relatively calm for the most part, though. Not everybody's making a lot of moves since Ian Cornish had really started a little bit earlier. Of course, you can go whenever you want as soon as the pace car pulls off of the racetrack. So Cornish really helped himself out here by spreading out the field. That's a very good strategy for a large track like this. Watching a battle here between the 27, 36, and 31. This is for position number 7. Pomfrey on the inside, the 36, as Rex is going to slide up to the top side. A little bit of bad luck with that outside wall in qualifying. Redford in the 31 taking to the inside lane. He'll take to the middle and then dives to the inside. That's pretty much the lowest that you want to be right there from the 31 as he gets alongside Pomfrey for position number 7. At least that's what it appeared to be, and a little bit of a bump draft from the 27. That's going to mess him up, unfortunately. Way too much momentum, but he does have a sort of preferred entry. Pretty much any entry into this corner unless you're right on the inside. And you're pretty much A-okay as Redford and Pomfrey are battling side by side now. Back up front, top 3 still remains the same. Back to your position number 7 battle, which has sorted itself out as Redford has temporarily proved himself more, or at least temporarily proved himself faster than the number 36 of Pomfrey. Somebody went to the inside to protect. That's a 666 of Michael Jones. Here comes Lane O'Connor in the number 4 on the top side. And I believe Jones actually has a little bit of front end damage. Can't really tell. Hopefully we could see down the back straightaway here. And he most certainly does. Not sure where that came from, actually, but nonetheless, Lane O'Connor will be heading to the inside. And if we see somebody with any back bumper damage, then we'll find out what had happened. At least we could roughly speculate what happened, but probably something on the start of the race. But Jones is sort of hanging on for the most part. Battling in the back, Chris Bourne in the 79 rather. Tries to move to the inside to get alongside the 404, but that doesn't work off turn at number 2, unfortunately. He'll lose a lot of momentum too. Nigel De Jong, not one lap down as of right now, but he's about half track behind, in this case in front of your leaders. So the only driver that isn't on track is Jeffrey Goodpaster. Not sure what happened to him, but he is no longer, I don't think he even started this race actually. So unfortunately the 17 will miss this week's race. And that means we still have 23 other drivers that want to contend for position. And speaking of contending for position, Doug Pickering was looking around the back bump of the number 13 of Josh Wong for that top 5, but it looks like there could be a brewing battle from the number 71, the 96, or just a bump draft down the back straightaway. And Broström gets a little bit loose off turn number 4. And he'll lose that momentum for the time being. Will Pickering do anything for P at 5? Entering turn number 1, peeks to the inside, but doesn't do anything of it. Pickering knowing that's way too early to really push the car, as it's only lap 14 of 100. You can see right now that the 2 is now protecting that top side. They're trying to make a move onto the top side, and it doesn't work, unfortunately. A crossover could be possible, though. But right now, we can't get it done as of this moment in time. So now it's going to be a 3-car battle for position at number 4. Of course, we'll also be taking a green flag break at lap number 25. Lap 26, if you will, but nonetheless, it's when we will be taking a little bit of a break. So about right now, 9 laps time. Don't worry, you won't miss any part of the action that you see right now. Still watching this battle for P number 5. It's just pretty much, it's not really a battle, it's more of a brewing battle, of course, and we're probably going to be saying that a lot today, as there's not really much going on as everybody's so spread out, but the distance between P6, the number 2 of Doug Pickering, and position number 7 of Mark Redford, well, there's Mark Redford in the green and white truck. Meanwhile, Jake Forster is on the apron trying to get by the 36 of Pomfrey. Back to Jonathan Rex as well, as he's now in position number 10. Great job by him so far. He only lost 4 positions. And of course, remember, it is still early on in this race. Well, I'd say we take a little bit of a ride along with the number 91 of Saunders the next time they come out of turn number 4. Well, this time, when they come out of turn number 4, and take a ride on the gyro cam and see what it's like to ride around here with the banking at Michigan. The new Michigan as well. Here's one lap with the 91 of Saunders as both drivers get loose. These top two have managed to break themselves away by about 1.5 seconds, or at least the time being. You can see Carl Hayes at the very right-hand side of your screen. And there's the difference in the middle, about 1.2 seconds. And the distance between the leader and second place are pretty much absolutely non-existent. I mean, aside from that 2-truck length gap that has just now somehow managed to make its way between the front two runners, but nonetheless, though, that may be Saunders backing off and waiting for a little bit of a mistake from the 91, because both drivers managed to get loose off turn number 4. Doug Pickering in position number 5, just running behind the number 71 now of Brostrom. So we will take a look through the field and see if there's any other closer battles than the front two runners. And there actually are between Chris Stansfield and Reese Hardwick, who's already, there's what happened. There's damage on the back bumper of the 136. Heavy damage, goodness gracious. Well, next time if there is a caution, then we will review what happened between Hardwick. But in fact, I think we're good for now to actually take a look and see what happened between those two, because my goodness, something massive happened between Hardwick and the 666 of Jones. I actually took a pit stop on lap 16 as well as Jones. So we'll take a look at the replay here and see if there's... Take a look at a replay and see if we can find it in time. Still going through the replay, but we will update you on the standings, as first and second are still pretty much the same distance as before. Not sure what happened. I believe there actually may not be any damage. That's Pickering, rather. We will get to that when we can, so we will show the replay as we head to our break here in a few moments' time. This is the Racing Line Broadcasting Network, and you're watching the My Turn Racing Truck Series here at Michigan International Speedway. It's 100 laps. And we'll be taking a quick break and checking out to see what happened on the replay. Stay tuned. back with commentary here at Michigan as the 04 of Lance Simon having a little bit of a longer pit stop. He's been in pit road for a while. Now he leaves as Jamie Sawyer has to pit road. This is pretty much pit stops time right now. Great job by the 46 to stop in his pit stall at the very right moment. Taking it 4 tires and pit stops. So judging by this, then not really sure, but 2 tires, 2 right side tires by the looks of it. Great job, great pit stop. Also in pit row is going to be the 44 of Jake Forrester. Right side tires up on the 44, so judging by this could be at least maybe a 2-stop race if some drivers can stretch it out. 2 or 3 stop race. As most of these drivers actually have not yet pitted. And Saunders again has went to pit road in the number 91, relinquishing that second place finish, unfortunately. Or sorry, second place position, rather. We're a long ways away from the finish of the race here this afternoon. But Carl Hayes is in second. Third place is Doug Pickering. And here comes Pickering and Cornish to pit road. We'll see what they can do. 81 of Cornish qualified first. He's got to stop. He is the race leader, or was the race leader at the time. And perfect job as Pickering also manages to stop in his pit stall as well. Mark Redford also just coming into the pit stall behind, locks up the tires, but I don't think that would really matter unless he is. Yes, he is taking tires, so it doesn't really matter then, as Cornish and Pickering both now leave pit road. Simon Marshall enters pit road. Carl Hayes in pit road. Oh, wait, something happened to Carl Hayes entering pit road. Was he a bit too fast is the question. He just can't do him backing up. We'll see what happened on his pit road entry. Replay up on your screen, and it could have been too much speed. Yep, way too much speed, and oh man. Wall is practically made of rubber for that. Well, Carl Hayes now was unfortunately stuck with some damage. Some very heavy damage, actually, as well. Because I believe that's a 27 Jonathan Rex, and it is. He will head out of his pit stall, and the 96 is, again, stuck with a lot of front-end damage. So now, as Stansfield and De Jong are leaving pit road, at least in this case, De Jong, Carl Hayes still in pit road. Chris Bourne in the 79 comes to pit road, and so does the 23 of Daniel Beckett. And Beckett, perfect stop by him as well. So now we only have the top 5 that have yet to pit, which are the 13 of Josh Wong, 36 of Stuart Pomfrey, the 4 of Lane O'Connor, the 404 in that bright yellow and green truck, and then Reese Hardwick, who ran into some bad luck. I believe all these drivers have at least one fast repair. Nope, never mind. But Hardwick has to pit road, so does Andrew. Saunders back from his pit stops. And the 404 of Andrew, unfortunately, misses pit stall. And he did. They both missed their pit stalls because the 404 had no idea where it was. And that messed up the 136 as well in the process. But Reese, his tires, or his pit crew is a little bit faster, so he had to back up a little bit of a less amount. And now Stu Pumphrey is also in pit row in the number 36. Hardwick down and away, more than likely earlier than he wants to, as the rear tires lock up on the 36. So now it's just Lane O'Connor in the 4 and the 13. Your current leader, Josh Wong, may head to pit row this time by, and he will. Will the 4 of O'Connor join him? Will he stay out to lead one of his own laps? He'll stay out to lead one of his own laps. And the key thing here for leaving pit road is that you have to stay below the line until you get to the yellow cone and the yellow line that are just on the exit of turn number 2. Perfect stop by the 13. So that leaves the number 4 of Lane O'Connor, the only driver who is yet to pit, keeping that car very, very clean. Your truck, rather. You have to hear him play with the throttle, and he'll stay out maybe one more lap. After all, this next lap for him will be his 40th lap on these tires. So he is the only driver with the oldest tires on the raceway right now. The driver with the freshest tires, well, just ask the number 36 of Pumphrey. Or the 404 of Andrew Bullock, or actually no, that'd be the number 666 of Michael Jones, who's just now in pit road. He's had damage earlier. And by the way that the 4 is entering and the way he's sliding up, yep, he will head to pit road this time around. 40 solid laps, so I think what Lane O'Connor's trying to do is split into 40 laps each for his run. In this case, if he pits on lap 80 again, then he's pretty much fine. So that gives the lead to last week's winner at Las Vegas, the number 91 of Reese Saunders. Different spellings, different pronunciations, unfortunately, but I got reminded that it was Reese Saunders, not Rice Saunders. Same goes for Hardwick, I believe. As now Cornish in the number 81 is currently in the second place position. 44 Jake Forrester trying to hold off the number 2 of Doug Pickering, who has 2 lap fresher tires. Next driver that's closest to them in 5th is going to be John Jarrett. And Saunders nearly completely destroys his right side of the car, or scrapes some paint on that, adding some paint to these fresh walls here at Michigan. And entering the corner, I had no idea who that was. Was that it looks like the 23. And it was the number 23, not sure who exactly that is. That was actually Daniel Beckett just in front of him. Oh, Saunders. All right, that's going to. I'm not sure how you viewers feel, but as both a racer on iRacing at the very least and a broadcaster, that stresses me out so much, seeing somebody drift up to the top side and somehow they managed to stay off the wall. Meanwhile, back to the competition of who has the fresher tires. Well, that's Lane O'Connor. Remember, he pitted on lap 40 as of now 2 lap fresher tires when he crosses the line. 2 laps worth of used tires, rather. This time by will be 3 laps for his new set. So you can see Ian Cornish and Reese Saunders not too far behind. Not too far of a gap, but the closest battle is, well, in this little bunch of cars here. Pickering finally managed to get by Jake Forrester for position number 3. John Jarrett in the 59. Trying to get by the 31 of Redford, who ironically is now in a red car, as I have just now noticed. He has a little bit of red. I believe that would probably count. There's a little bit of red on his banner. Nonetheless, though, Saunders in first, Cornish in second, third place, Doug Pickering, who's, we'll stay focused on Pickering here because, my goodness, he is surrounded by practically every single car on the track, it seems. And, oh, hello, everyone's going wide in the back here. Careful, drivers. Some of these for position, some of these not for position. Majority of these drivers actually a whole lap down. Hello. Jake Forrester in the 44 is the only one that isn't a lap down in this small battle of cars with a 136 to 71. Actually, just a 136 and a 71. Not sure who was on what lap, actually, but no doubt that this is definitely a very, very nervous situation for the 44, but Forrester doing a great job managing to navigate that traffic and stay out in front. So we will head over your entire field in a few laps time once we cross the halfway point on lap number 50. We unfortunately do have 2 other drivers out, Jeffrey Sykes and Simon Marshall. And Jeffrey Goodpaster unfortunately has not started this race. So that's unofficially 3 drivers out, officially 2 drivers out. As Jones takes to the low side, he is 2 laps down. He has 8 laps worth, he's used 8 laps on his current tires. Jake Forrester has used 17. So no surprise that Jones is more than likely going to try and get by the 44 here. Unfortunately, still can't really do it, but I'm not sure. If I was Jones, then I'd just probably just wait it out and see if there would be a caution, as insert commentator's curse over here, because we will probably get a caution in the second half of the race. Okay, now we really jinxed it, unfortunately. But nonetheless, though, Ian Cornish has closed the gap on his 4-lap pressure tires on Saunders. Saunders has yet to actually catch up to the 23 this whole time. But it is understandable since, well, Saunders has ran 20 laps on his tires, 13 laps for Beckett on his tires, and Beckett is trying to stay on the top side. So we cross the halfway point, but we'll wait to actually review the the entire standings of this race, rather, as, well, sort of using the 23 as a pick, as Beckett moves to the inside. Here comes Saunders onto the inside of Beckett, who's not even in this race. Whoa, hello. That was a bit wild right there, but goodness gracious, that would have been devastating for both of these drivers. In fact, I believe they're both they're both back at their original positions that they started in. Cornish back in first, Saunders back in second. So we will head through your current field. These are not your finishing results, these are rather your current results. You have Cornish, Saunders, Pickering, Forrester, Josh Wong, Mark Redford, Stuart Pomfrey, John Jarrett, Jonathan Rex, and Nigel DeJong in their top 10. And then we have Sawyer and O'Connor, the last two drivers in the lead lap, as Beckett just went one lap down. So that means Beckett, Hardwick, Brostrom, Stanfield, Simon, Bullock, Carl Hayes, Chris Bourne, Michael Jones, Simon Marshall, Jeffrey Sykes, all multiple laps down. So now for Ian Cornish, let's take a look at the comparisons of lap times here. As well, it's pretty much no contest, just judging by the lap times alone. As you can see, the lap times on the right-hand side of the driver's names, a 41.9 versus 42.4. As 4-lap pressure tires coming in very handy for Ian Cornish. 0.4 of a second faster that time around. A bit of a minor reset to our overlay just to make sure everything is working a-okay. And well, as Doug Pickering crosses the line in third place rather, we will show who is in the fastest lap, or set the fastest lap, and that looks like at least the fastest lap of the race. At the moment, it's Reese Saunders in the 91 with a 40.175. I say at the moment because Ian Cornish has something to say about that. His fastest lap of the race, well, it was a 40.293, but more than likely that was on the start of the race. And also more than likely Saunders has had a little bit of help in terms of slipstream in the first half of the race. So, of course, a little bit of a fan favorite, Nigel DeJong in the number 41. Well, he started 19th. He's currently 10th. And unfortunately, unlike last week, at the moment, he gets pretty close to the outside wall off turn number 2. Right now, he's just probably settled in for the time being. Last week, we didn't have any cautions. We ran at Las Vegas for, I believe it was 133 laps. 80 laps, rather. Thinking of a different series then. And DeJong right now currently 10th. He is currently second in the point standings, and while heading into this race, he has 2 race wins here. And Saunders also has at least 1 race win, but Ian Cornish has a completely different agenda. He isn't even on the previous winners list or well, he did set a pole last time we were here. One of the previous times that this league has went to this raceway. So Ian Cornish has led laps. He's gotten the pole. He's done everything but win, unfortunately. Today it could be his day, but it has yet to be seen. We still have at least, and of course, 42 laps at the start-finish line. looking through, and pretty much everybody is all spread out throughout the entire raceway. As Lane O'Connor is not pretty much actually running the same exact lap time as Nigel De Jong right now. But that number 4 of O'Connor, he led, I believe, at least 1 lap or 2 laps. Stayed 40 laps on his tires. And for the moment, he is catching up to Nigel De Jong, who his last lap time for De Jong actually was a 44.3. Lane O'Connor is a 42.0, which could be rounded to a 40.1. But either way, roughly about a second to 2 seconds faster is Lane O'Connor, and he is quickly knocking on that door, the number 41 for that top 10. So far, this is starting to look like the previous race from 2018 Season 3 when this league ran 65 laps with no cautions. At the moment, this looks to be the both longest race and the second race in terms of no cautions. In terms of no cautions for the second week in a row. Saunders in pit road. Pickering in pit road, actually. This, of course, is strategy. Remember, some drivers, John Jarrett, who is also in pit road. Saunders is in pit road, actually. Pickering in pit road. Jarrett not in pit road. This could work out, though. 39 laps to go, and some drivers, more specifically the 4 of Lane O'Connor, he managed to make 40 laps. So it's about 20 to 30 lap stint for some of these drivers. Ian Cornish now heading back around. Josh Wong all the way in second. This is the distance, pretty much. Here's Josh Wong in second, just entering turn number 1. Ian Cornish, the leader, just comes out of turn number 2, almost halfway down the back straightaway. Taking the low side and heading to pit road. It's going to be Cornish. Heavy on the brakes. You can see his car move every which direction possible. So that will give the lead to Josh Wong. He's just now passed by. For Cornish, though, again, have to be careful entering your pit stall. And a little bit too far to the left, maybe. No, he will get serviced. John Jarrett now, he's in pit road this time around. Stops perfectly in his pit box, taking his time as much as he wants to. Definitely wants to not mess this up because of the pit stops, of course. During a green flag run, the pit stops are the race within the race, as number 59 gets 2 tires. More than likely a little bit of some fuel and maybe some damage repair because he has not left his pit stall yet. Does look like that bumper is a little bit damaged. Yeah, just a little bit on the left bumper. And great sponsor placement, too, by John Jarrett. So no one else has yet to hit pit road, but Josh Wong in first place. Second is Stuart Pomfrey. There's a 136 of Reese Hardwick. Mark Redford in 31 in third place, and Lane O'Connor in fourth. Nigel De Jong up to fifth now, and well, here he is in the 41, just about to make a pass, and he'll head to pit road instead. 30 laps, a 30-lap stint on these tires. From the number 41 of De Jong. Oh, did he overshoot? Yep, he did, ever so slightly. You can see some of the damage too from the 41 on the right side of the truck. That's pretty scraped up, but it doesn't look like it's anything major. Anyone else heading to pit road? Yes, the 404 of Andrew Bullock, who I believe spun. He did spin entering pit road, and that will cost him a lot of time. As if him being a lap down wasn't enough, well, this is going to be another smack in the face for the 404. Way too fast entering pit road and into the inside wall. That's very unfortunate for the 404. Daniel Beckett also in pit road in the number 23. So is Jonathan Rex. He's in his pit stop. Oh, Daniel Beckett stopped just short of his pit box, or his pit sign, rather. There goes the 31 of Redford. He's in pit road. Well, the driver that's stayed out most on their tires so far is, of course, Lane O'Connor with 40 laps on his tires. But for this stint, rather, it's going to be the 04 of Lance Simon with 37 laps. Most anyone stayed out on their tires is, of course, 40 from the number 4. There goes the 136 into his pit stall, pit road. And we have 7 drivers on the lead lap at this raceway now. And this is all, don't forget, all these drivers have been put 1 or more laps down just from pit stops alone, which in a way is a good thing. So Cornish has 5 laps on his tires. He's currently third. He just passed by Reese Saunders, who was on 2-lap older tires. And then Lane O'Connor with 28 laps on his tires. But Josh Wong is the leader, and I saw somebody take to the inside. That's the 404. There's something heavily wrong with that truck. He's got some steering damage by the looks of it, I believe. Suspension damage, rather. Don't forget the 404 did spin entering pit road, hit the inside wall. So, yep, there he goes. Definitely some heavy suspension damage from the 404, unfortunately. And he just missed his pit stall, too. He's barely inside of it. And here comes the 13, your current leader, Josh Wong, into pit road. And perfect stop by the 13. As 5 drivers already fly by who was the leader. Chris Stansfield also in pit road. Lance Simon, 40-lap old tires. Will he make it 41, or will he head to pit road? He'll make it 41. So right now on track, 7 drivers battling. Jake Forrester falls back to 4th place. The 44 in 4th. The number 2 of Doug Pickering up to 3rd. Reese Saunders still battling with the number 81. This entire time has been pretty much a battle between these 2 drivers. But Cornish has 2-lap fresher tires. Stuart Pomfrey in pit road. And Lance Simon heads to pit road with 41 lap old tires. Just barely extended the air quote record of how many laps a driver stayed out here without pitting. That was a 41 lap stint. Before earlier, Lane O'Connor had set a 40 lap stint on the first 40 laps of the race. He's still going too. He's on 32 laps worth of tires and he's in 5th place right now. John Jarrett, the last driver on the lead lap, and well, there's the leader just behind him. So that may not be lasting long whatsoever. So for future race dates, still a tentative date for this league next week. But if so, next week, the My Turn Racing Truck Series, they will be heading to, if we can get the schedule up here, probably not as of right now, but we'll get that as soon as possible. Unless the future definitely set broadcasting dates, October 19th will be the AMA, actually I believe that'll be the, I always have to double check some of these unfortunately, but nonetheless though, as we get those back up, we'll update you about any future dates in a few laps time, as Ian Cornish still holding off Reese Saunders, but Saunders, he pulled off a first place finish last week by holding off Nigel De Jong. Pickering in 3rd. In fact, the 91 Saunders held off De Jong and Carl Hayes. .24 laps remaining, so just in the final 3 quarters of this race. And this is how close the race has been for, well, pretty much the entire race, minus a few pit stops here and there. Saunders on 2-lap older tires. And almost a little bit of a bunt draft heading into the corner. So somehow for Ian Cornish, he's been holding off pretty much, pretty much the only driver he's been holding off this whole time. This whole race was the 91 of Reese Saunders, with almost zero trouble whatsoever. Well, there's one of those parts where it has no trouble. Apologies, where it has no trouble. That's 91 of Reese Saunders. He got loose, way loose off turn number 4, and well, you saw the visible difference here from the onboard. But next week, if we do get the approval and the go-ahead for broadcasting next week's race, we'll be heading into Charlotte Motor Speedway. And no, it will not be the, as far as I know, it's not the Roval, thankfully, so well, that will be quite interesting. We will be heading to the regular oval circuit of Charlotte next week. And then on October 19th at 8:25 and 10:25 p.m. Eastern Time, those will be separate broadcasts, but still on the, of course, this same channel. It's the AMA Super Late Models and the Pro Cup Series in their preseason race for 50 laps each at Rockingham. So be sure to tune in for that. "20 laps remaining this time by the start-finish line." And a little bit of a commentary break, as we'll just let you listen to the sights and sounds of Michigan Speedway, as the 91 still tries to do the best that he can to get by the 81 of Ian Cornish. And apologies for that, as I had to fully restart the overlay as we had a little bit of technical issues, but nonetheless fixed it, back up and running. Nothing is going wrong as of yet right now. And it's still, Reese Saunders is actually barely over a tenth faster. I'd say about, what is that, 0.04 seconds faster than Cornish. Throughout this whole time, Saunders has been trying to do whatever he can with 15 laps to go this time around. Can Saunders do anything? He'll take to the top side, and he'll fall right back in behind that number 81. You can see the distance to the back bumper right now. There's practically none. Oh, Cornish. You saw him get loose in the middle of turns 3 and 4. Maybe a little bit too much on the throttle. Here comes Saunders now to the inside. He'll make the move with 14 laps to go. He'll try and regain the lead as they enter turns 1 and 2 this time around. Cornish top side, Saunders low side, off turn number 2, side by side. Pretty much door to door. Can Saunders go 2 for 2 weeks in a row here as he'll slide up almost into the 81. 13 laps to go. Saunders can't do it as of yet at the line. That was the number 81 of Cornish. And there's actually somebody in the infield. Hold on a second. Who was that? That was Reese Hardwick. We'll get the replay up and see what happened with the 136. Looks like he got heavily into the outside wall, sped, avoided pit road, took out the cone, and somehow kept it in the infield. It's a lot of bad luck for Reese Hardwick, though. First accidentally getting rear-ended by 666 of Jones, and then this just a few laps later. He is now currently in pit road as Cornish makes the move, or makes the defensive line, trying to focus out of his front windshield. It's pretty difficult to do that when you have somebody who's practically been tailing you the entire race. Quite literally tailing, and that also includes slipstreaming, apparently, according to the 91. Eight drivers on the lead lap. Nine drivers in positions 9th all the way to 24th are either out or more than one lap down due to green flag pit stops. Some drivers running into some bad luck. Some not even making it at all, unfortunately. Well, with 10 laps to go, go ahead and predict who you think will be winning this battle, because it's either going to be Ian Cornish from the 81, the 91 of Reese Saunders. Don't forget, you do have Doug Pickering as somebody's on the outside wall. That's John Jarrett, I believe. No, it's actually 27 of Jonathan Rex. Fourth place, we have Jake Forrester. Fifth place, Jake Forrester. And then at 5th place, we have Josh Wong. Right now, the battle is either between the 81 or the 91. Make predictions if you want. Because with 8.5 laps to go now, as they head to the back straightaway, now is the time. As Reese Saunders has won last week. Cornish was nowhere near that, but right now he is currently riding high in the first place position for the time being. Don't forget, with 8 laps to go, anything can happen, and it will. You can see the lap traffic in front of these drivers. One of them consists of John Jarrett in the 59, the 41 of Nigel De Jong. They're 8th and 7th. Or 7th is Nigel De Jong, 8th is John Jarrett. They're the last 2 drivers in the lead lap. They're looking to get lapped eventually if they keep racing each other like this. But John Jarrett definitely wants to get in that position. Oh, almost making contact as well. 7 laps to go, you can see the leaders in the background. Across the line, it was the 41 that time by. This is the closest battle on track, the second closest, being between the 91 and the 81 for the lead. 41 De Jong, though, he'll slide up. He'll get really loose on the top side. That's going to leave the inside way open for the 59 of John Jarrett. Across the line, he'll take 7th this time around. With 6 laps to go for the leaders. 7 laps to go for these drivers, as well, lap counting is a bit weird when you are between a lap down, but also not really a lap down. So now the drivers have entered the zones of lap traffic. How will they navigate is the question. More than likely right now it's going to be Saunders just following the 81 of Cornish. Letting Cornish do all the work and then following through. 5 laps remaining. Four laps to go, as it is still enough time for Saunders if he could do anything. If he wants to do anything, though. More than likely he's trying to push as hard as he can, but also saving those tires as well. Now, don't forget about 2 to 3 laps fresher tires for Ian Cornish. That means Cornish can push just that extra bit more than he wants to. Well, if he wants to. Will it be too late for the 91 with 3 laps remaining? Oh man, nearly into the outside wall. We'll be seeing somebody poke out down the back straightaway eventually. This time by 2 laps to go. And Saunders opts to take the high side, but that's where the lap traffic is. He'll move towards the middle now using the same line as the 81 of Ian Cornish. Can Ian Cornish do the same thing that Reese Saunders has done last week? Take the pole and get the win in the same race? It's something you'll have to find out, because this time by is going to be the final lap of this race. The white flag will fly on lap number, well, pretty much 100 of 100, if you will. 99 of 100. Through turns 1 and 2, off turn number 2. Following the draft, breaking the draft is going to be... Wait, hold on a second. Ian Cornish is out of fuel as he comes off turn number 2. John Jarrett may also be out of fuel, but Cornish is definitely out of fuel. Here comes Doug Pickering for 3rd. And coming off of turn number 4, 2 weeks in a row, getting the fuel strategy just right, will be the number 91 of Reese Saunders. Doug Pickering comes off turn number 4 to take 2nd. Can Ian Cornish make it to the white flag as Forrester makes his way up to 3rd? Josh Wong to 4th. Cornish has this bit of a distance to go. We'll see his miles per hour. He will make it. Can he keep it in 5th place, though? Here comes Red for that quick amount of speed. I believe Cornish made it, though. Yeah, Cornish made it just ever so slightly. Your race winner 2 weeks in a row from a fuel strategy gone wrong, just a bit too short, is Rhys Saunders. Congratulations to Saunders. Goodness gracious, that was... Does he even have enough fuel to actually... Nope, there he goes. 2 weeks in a row for the number 91. We'll get an interview with the top 3 after this. But we'll take a look at that one more time. This 91 is completely burning it down for the second week in a row, heavily extending his point standings lead that he has set. Unofficially, I think Saunders is... I said this last week, I think Saunders will be going until he blows his engine now, but unofficially, Saunders has roughly 87 points. That is, of course, subject to change, and if we can get your point standings out as soon as possible, just after the interviews, then we will do so. So stick around for about a minute or two after the interviews, and we will head over your finishing results of this race as Rhys Saunders picks up his second win in a row as he's still bringing it down in the background. Doug Pickering, second place. Third place, Jake Forrester. Third place, Josh Wong, and Ian Cornish runs out of fuel on the final lap and goes from first to fifth from turn 2 to the start-finish line. And Mark Redford barely comes up behind, just 0.2 of a second behind Ian Cornish. And then Nigel De Jong finishes 7th while not down. So does John Jarrett, Jonathan Rex, and Lane O'Connor, along with another majority of the field being a lap down due to a green flag pit stop. Stuart Pomfrey in 11th, Daniel Beckett, Jamie Sawyer, Lance Simon, Chris Stansfield, Chris Bourne, Michael Jones, Reese Hardwick, Andrew Bullock, and Carl Hayes are 11th through 20th. And then Linus Brostrom, Simon Marshall, and Jeffrey Sykes retired early, and Jeffrey Goodpaster, unfortunately, did not even start the race, rather, for this week. So stay tuned, and your top 3 interviews will be coming by in just a few moments' time. And we are back live here at the Michigan International Speedway, where we are about to speak with the race winner of Reese Saunders. Reese, do you have a copy on us?
Do loud and clear.
Well, congratulations for week number 2. Somehow you got 2 wins in a row. My goodness. Well, as we have seen, you managed to overhaul, or at least just barely edge out that fuel strategy at the end of the race and hung out Ian Cornish, and also somehow managed to save enough for fuel, even though you did pit at least 2 to 3 laps earlier than Cornish himself. So 2 weeks in a row, repaved. My goodness, how'd you manage to do that? What was your strategy heading into this week?
So I'd not done that much practice. I've been feeling a little bit under the weather. I've got a bit of man flu. You know how it goes. So there wasn't much strategy going into it. I was surprised I qualified second, and I managed to stay with Ian quite well in the first run. I then went super aggressive and pitted 4 laps earlier than Ian did at the end of the first run, which gave me a nice big lead, but his tyres were just so much fresher than mine. I'd probably pitted a little bit too soon. So he caught me and passed me in the second run. And then at the end of the second run, I'd kind of stabilised the gap at 2 seconds. And I blinked first. I pitted on, I think it was lap 61. And I knew that would give me enough fuel to get to the end because I filled my tank all the way up. And then it was just a case of just seeing how it shook out. I didn't realise Ian was running short on fuel until he ran out. So very much an unexpected win.
Yeah, very much so. Goodness gracious, that's still pretty amazing, though, that you somehow again managed to win 2 weeks in a row at the same time, and this time based off of strategy alone instead of holding somebody off. We thought it was going to be pretty much an opposite, that Cornish was going to hold you off like you held off DeJong and Heights last week, but unfortunately that wasn't the case. But definitely extending your points lead into next week at Charlotte. Your thoughts for the, I believe it's just the oval that we're heading to as well, as I did double check. So thankfully we're not heading to the Roval course.
I think the Roval would have been good fun, but you know, Charlotte is probably one of the most closely fought tracks, just because everyone's got so much practice time there. Everyone knows what they're doing at Charlotte, so I imagine next week to be a really tight fight.
And next week is going to be very, very exciting, especially as mentioned. Everyone knows what they're doing. It's one of the probably the most used track here in iRacing, but nonetheless, before we let you go, anyone that you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go celebrate win number 2 this week?
I'd like to give a big shout out to Ian and Doug for being really good competition. Again, big shout out to all the competitors. I mean, doing 100 laps at Michigan, quite a sizable field, and no cautions. I mean, that's good going. I'd also like to give a big shout out to Chris Stansfield as well. I think it's his first race with us this week. And in that final run, he was sat behind me and Ian, and he just didn't get involved and let us lead us fight out. So shout out to him as well.
Well, we are going to go ahead and let you go. Congratulations once again on win number 2 in a row this week.
Cheers, Gary. Thank you.
And we do have Doug Pickering with us for second place. He will be interviewed very, very shortly, so we'll get him in here in a few moments' time. But goodness gracious, congratulations to Saunders. Like he said, it was very, very unexpected for him to get that second place finish. And, well, he did win based off of field strategy alone. So congratulations again. We'll get the number 2 driver of Doug Pickering, who placed in second, ironically enough, as well, here in just a few moments' time. So as we get everything set up, I'd say we get the number 2 of Doug Pickering in here and see what he has to say about his second place finish for this week. Doug Pickering, do you have us?
I certainly do.
Well, congratulations on your second place finish. More than likely unexpected, as Cornish ran out of fuel on the final lap, and well, you did a great job of managing to hang on to your top 5 roughly throughout the entire race, aside from pit stops. How was your strategy heading into Michigan this week?
It was going well for the first run, and then I was just sitting in with Linus and working as a tandem with him, and he just clipped the outside wall. But I could see him going out. I didn't get inside him enough, so I took about 5-6 seconds damage on my front right. And then on that last run, when they got out as a tandem, they were gone because I couldn't. The aero just wouldn't let me get to them. So, and then they hooked up together and we're just going. So, no, I enjoyed it. It's really good.
Yeah, it was very, very exciting here for this week as well. So, of course, the repay to Michigan as well. Of course, you more than likely have raced at the previous Michigan, as you did have 35 laps led the last time at the previous configuration. So, comparing the old Michigan to this one, the new repaid one, what's the difference between that one and this one?
This one's a lot smoother. I don't think you've got to manage your arcs quite a bit on this one, whereas the old one, there was a little bit of a bump at the back end of 2, and there was a little notches in the seam that you tried to cut to, but not across. And then the same on the back end of 4. There was a compression in the track that once, if you went through there with your throttle on and your tires heated up, it'd upset you. Whereas this one, it's so much smoother. You can just play with the throttle all the way through the corner once your rears are heated. I prefer the old one, but it is what it is. It's still smoother than Auto Club.
More than definitely, and that's also another way that produces the excitement here at this track. So before we let you go, or before we ask you if you have anyone to thank, and more than likely you do, what are your thoughts heading into Charlotte next week?
I really don't like Charlotte, but all right, it's a race. You race it. I don't think we're going to get the long green runs. So we might do. Might be surprised, but I think it's tired. Pit stop strategy is going to come into it a little bit more there. So yeah.
Well, more than likely, it'll be pretty interesting to see what Charlotte holds next week. But of course, now before we let you go, anyone that you'd like to give a shout out to for your second place finish here this week?
Yeah, John and the guys who are running this league. I'd like Turn 3 Motorsports, who help us prep. I know these are fixed series, but help us prep the open stuff. And Hazy Signs and Design for the paint scheme. It does a great job every week. So thanks very much. Oh, and yourself, obviously.
Oh, thanks. It's also definitely a joy broadcasting these races, especially with the unexpected finishes that we've seen so far. So we are going to go ahead and let you go. Congratulations again on your second place finish.
Thanks so much, Gary. Ta-ra.
And that was Doug Pickering, and I believe that will be it. We would have Jake Forster, but unfortunately he is not either here or available, or a combination of both, rather. So we are going to go ahead and sign off. Remember, next week will possibly be the My Turn Racing Truck Series at Charlotte. Of course, that is still currently tentative, but nonetheless, we will more than likely be seeing that next week. And don't forget that October 19th at 8:25 and 10:25 p.m. Eastern Time is the AMA preseason series, both with the goodness gracious, with the super late models and also the Cup Series at Rockingham for 50 laps each of those races. So go ahead and don't forget to subscribe and make sure you hit the notifications on, and check back roughly about every week if you do so, please, to see what broadcast we have coming up next. So we will hopefully see you next week at Charlotte. Goodbye from Michigan.